What's up, boys? We're back. Looks like we're gonna have quite a bit of content here coming up soon. Today I'm doing brakes on a newer Chevy Colorado, and I got the wheel off and I realized that it was a fixed caliper, kind of like the Brimbos on my WRX here. A lot of high performance brakes are fixed calipers. They look like this. You've got your pads that go on the inside and they're held in by these pins. So today I'm going to kind of walk you guys through how to do brake pads and rotors on a fixed caliper brake setup. So let's get into it. So first thing I like to start out with is replacing the pads because it's easier to get the pads off and everything and back into place while the rotor is while the caliper is stationary. So before I break these caliper bolts loose on the back and take the caliper off, I'm going to go ahead and replace the pads and clean up the hardware and everything, so that way I can just replace it all, move this to the side, replace the rotor, and then put this right back, instead of having to fight with this, holding it up so that I don't put stress on the brake line and keeping it off the ground and trying to film and doing all that. So let me show you guys how to just really quick change the pads and clean up this hardware. Then we'll get the rotor off and it'll be quick and easy. Okay, now that we've got some light on the situation, you guys can probably see right here, there's a little cotter pin. So I'm just going to start by taking that cotter pin out of my brake hardware, set that on the ground somewhere where you're not going to lose it. I'll put mine right here on my jack. Then we're going to take this one on this side, is a little bit rotated around. Not sure how it got that way, but it's not easy to take off. So I'm going to show you a way to get that off here in a second. We're going to relieve the tension, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself. So I'm going to take this punch, just a long skinny punch, set it up and knock out this pin right here. So now that we've got it out of this side, we can grab onto it with some pliers and hopefully wiggle it the rest of the way out. Now that that's out, this little clip here should move a little bit more freely. We can grab our top pin, hopefully, and rotate it so that our cotter pin is visible, or accessible, I should say. We'll take our pick, pull that one out as well, put it to the side, and then this one should come out pretty simple as well. Cool. So now that that's out, you should be able to take your retaining spring here, move it to the side, and then if you're not changing rotors, this would normally be pretty much the end of the job. You just take out your pads, and sometimes you need to pry them out a little bit. So what you can do is get a large screwdriver. What I did is I got the head of the hammer and pried between the rotor and the brake pad just to free up some of that tension, and literally they should just slide right out just like that on both sides. You guys can see how low these pads are, but they're not awful. So now that those are out, normally I would just go ahead and put the pads back in here, but I'm going to need a way to press the pistons back into the caliper. So I've got a special tool that I'm going to show you guys, and I'll put a link to it down in the description. Let's get that special tool. We'll get the caliper off, and we'll use that special tool to expand our pistons back into the caliper, and we'll put it all back together. Okay, so here's the special tool I have. You guys might have seen this before. If not, and you do brake jobs pretty often, I recommend you pick one up. It's a lot quicker and easier than using like a C-clamp or, you know, crap like that. Especially on these fixed calipers, you basically have no other option than to use something like this. But here it is, quick and easy. You just stick it down in there between the two sets of pistons, then you just ratchet it back and forth until your pistons are pressed all the way back in. Makes this job super quick and easy. And then you just flip your switch, just switch right here, break it free and ratchet it back the opposite way. It closes it up and you can pull them out. Super easy, quick, awesome tool. I got this one on Amazon. It's a Lang, part number 279, but I will leave a link to this one down in the description below if you guys want to pick one up. Caliper, the pistons are pressed all the way back in. Let's put her back on and we'll pretty much be good to, well, let's do the rotor first and then we'll put this bad boy on and put the pads back in. All right, excuse the mess, but I've got both slide pins here, and I like to just take a little wire wheel on a Dremel or a drill and clean these up really good. And then once those are cleaned up really good, I will spray them off with brake clean, wipe them down with a blue towel, and then I like to put a little bit, just a very little slight amount of like red grease on these, because these are slide pins obviously, and if you don't, then your brakes are likely to squeal. So put a little bit of grease on these and then brake grease on the rear of your pads obviously, and smear that around a little bit. You're good to go. So you set your spring plate on there and then press down really firmly. This can be kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but you press down real hard, push your pin through, start the top one first, get it nice and seated, make sure your pin's all the way in. Sorry if this is a bad angle, but I had to set you guys down so I could use both hands. But now that you got your spring plate in, you can start your second pin down at the bottom and just press the bottom of your spring plate and force that pin through. And then you'll have to kind of finesse that one a little bit as well to get it into the hole. But it is tapered, so if you feel like giving it a little tap with a hammer on the back, it should just go right in. So now that those are in, let me grab my cotter pins. We'll install the cotter pins and this side will be done. It's a little hard to see where the cotter pins go with all the grease on it, but if you mess around with it a little bit, you should be able to get it right in. And just like that, this side's done, and the other side's exactly the same. So one thing I forgot to mention is this rotor has another T30 Torx bit, and I used my impact driver for that. I probably showed you guys that in another video, but just a T30 on an impact driver, and those come out pretty much every time without having to having them strip from using an impact or trying to do it with like a hand socket or a hand wrench or anything like that. So use the impact driver. That's going to do it for this side. All right guys, that's going to do it for this video. I just wanted to come really quick and show you guys pretty much the process of doing a fixed caliper style of brake, because I know a lot of you guys do your own DIY stuff and you're probably on the internet looking for how to do different types of brakes. So if you run into one like this is a video on how to do it. So if it helped, please like the video, subscribe to the channel for more automotive content. Got a lot of cool stuff coming. If you guys don't like this style content on the channel and you want to see more performance stuff, definitely let me know down in the comments. Be happy to switch it back up. But like I said, that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.